you doing? Let me close that. Jerrod Sessler here. I hope you all are doing well. I am on the road as usual. I'm driving across Snoqualmie Pass, which is absolutely stunningly beautiful right now with all these snow and trees and rocks and mountains. It's just amazing. Love this state. We'll never leave this state. This is our state. SeaTac Airport. I'm going to Washington, D.C. I've got some things on my agenda this week that I'm going to run through with you. Running for Congress in Washington's 4th District against incumbent Dan Newhouse, who I beat in the last primary in last August, and I will face him again in 16 months in the next primary. And he proved that he has no decorum, scruples, morals, or respect by lying about me with millions of dollars in the general. So gloves are off here, Dan Newhouse, and we're going to beat him this time. And speaking of Dan Newhouse, he just signed a letter along with 20 other members of Congress to support the Inflation Reduction Act. So let me just explain something to you that many of you probably don't know. And I'm going to explain this because I'm going to talk about the two main priorities I have for going to Washington, D.C. this week. I've got a bunch of projects I'm working on, but actually just released a documentary to our donors, which, by the way, please like and share this video. Please donate to my campaign. Set up a monthly donation to help me. My wife and I have really poured our lives into this, along with a lot of volunteers, primarily in Central Washington over the last couple of years, and we have really poured ourselves into this. So very much appreciate your support and just sharing this and getting more people to support me and to follow me, just to see the chance to see how I think, what's important to me. So I appreciate that. So Inflation Reduction Act was passed under Joe Obama, and to sign a letter with 20 other members of Congress to see it continue, which it should not. It is horrible for us, and I'm going to explain one way that it hurts us egregiously, and that is in regards to our energy costs. It absolutely guts our ability to have low cost energy in Washington State, and we are racing. If you look at the increase in energy costs over the last just 3 years as an example, we have had massive double-digit increases, and it's almost as if we're working as hard as we can to get our energy costs up to where they are for people in California, which are paying 3 to 5 times as much as we are, depending on where you're at. Now, you have to realize that 60% of the energy generation in Washington State comes from hydropower, which was basically all paid for decades ago and is one of the cleanest forms of energy there is in the country. And we also have more significant power coming from nuclear power, which primarily comes out of research done through PNNL and other engineering firms from Hanford, which is near Tri-Cities in Washington State and Benton County. It's another very important critical energy generation. We also have Framatome near there, which is a fresh fuel manufacturer who makes fuel. It's actually a French-owned company now, but they make fuel for nuclear power plants all over the world. That also happens in Tri-Cities. And there's, we have gas turbines. We have, a lot of different types of energy being produced in Washington State. And so we should have incredibly low-cost energy. But because of the Green New Scam, we don't. And the Inflation Reduction Act actually supports that. So we do have some green energy, we have some photovoltaic, we have some wind energy, but none of that cost of capital for that energy assists with the base load energy that we need to be able to survive, to be able to support the population and to support all the processes and energy sucking events that are happening, whether it's our homes or data centers or businesses or whatever. We have to have that base load. That base load comes from dams, it comes from nuclear power, it comes from gas turbine energy. It comes from, in some cases, if it's coming in from like Montana, it could be coming from coal-fired plants. The energy is, generated in a bunch of different ways, and it goes into a marketplace. This is the part that I think a lot of people don't understand. The energy goes into a marketplace once it comes off of wherever it's being generated from, and then it's bought and sold on that marketplace. It's sort of like a stock market. And what happens with green new scam energy is when the wind is blowing and the windmills are producing energy, or the sun is shining and the photovoltaic is producing energy, then that energy is sold into the marketplace